Hello everybody, welcome to another video. I'm down on the beach today, going to do a bit of beach combing. I'm looking for something in particular that adults usually overlook and small children pick up. Now I've already checked out the green spaces, some of the green spaces and the public parks and gardens in this area in the hope that I'll find some of these items. I'm actually looking for feathers. So the feathers I'm looking for in particular are off large birds, so a seagull size would be ideal, but anything from blackbird up to a magpie size would be ideal. And I'm looking for the primary feathers, which are the first 3 or 4 feathers on the wing tips, because they're the strongest feathers. So behind the camera is the sand dunes. I'll be looking through the sand dunes for some as well. The beach in that direction is completely flat. The sea's just gone out about 2 hours ago. So it's completely flat. It's a bit like looking at a desert. So I brought along my secret weapon, which is my 18 by 52 monocular, so I can scan the area before I actually need to walk to it. So let's crack on with it. So the best place I've found in the past to find feathers on the beach is along the seashore, where the last wave has been as the sea's gone out, because it deposits all the seaweed, the seashells, anything that gets washed up gets deposited along a line. So I'm going to scan up and down this line here over the breakwater, and then I may check in the rocks just behind the camera, because there's a rock kind of breakwater just in front of me here. It goes for a couple of miles actually. Okay folks, so I've just come off the sand onto a shingle part of the beach. You can probably just see over my shoulder there where the rocks are for the breakwater. But I've come across this little area here, and there's a little bit behind the camera where all this kind of driftwood's been deposited and old seaweed. And there is some feathers here. Now that's about the size that I'm looking for, but ideally I'd like a little bit better shape, better condition, but we'll see what we can find here. Okay, so I've kind of found the perfect size and shape. It's not too badly damaged, so I'm going to scan this area a little bit more, see if I can find something similar to that. I am hopeful still, and then I'll move on to the next section of the beach. So that one is for the bag. So I've got a good selection of feathers in the net now. I have got an alternative way to make flights for these arrows. I think they're called fletchings. And I'm going to head back now and find somewhere to make a day camp. So rather than walk all over the shingle again and on the sand, which is quite soft, I thought I'd take an alternative route and walk back through the dunes. Beautiful area this is. Right guys, welcome back. So I've managed to procure myself 2 greenwood sticks for these arrows. That one's got a slight bend in it, and so is that one, but we can hopefully straighten them out a little bit using a bit of heat. Obviously I've got the feathers, but before I do anything with that, I want to get myself some tea on. Right guys, I didn't think I'd manage all that, but I did. Right, back to the arrows. We're going to start losing light. So to do this video justice, I'm going to bring you back tomorrow. Same location, same setup. The weather's supposed to be the same as well, so touch wood, we'll be all right. But what I will do is show you these little kits that I'm going to be working with from Bushcraft Essentials, and this one's the BE survival card. Basically you get everything on this card so that you can make arrows or spears, small spears. So I'll bring you in for a bit of a closer look. I've obviously modded my kit because you're not always going to be able to find feathers and that kind of thing, so I've modded my kit slightly, and I'll show you that now. In order to make flights in a survival situation, I've just wrapped quite a lot, I would say, of duct tape around there, and my idea being that I'll make one arrow with kind of paracord and duct tape, and the next arrow I'll use the feathers and some other cordage that I've got. So obviously in here I've got the card. I'll just open that so you can see it. So here's the card. You get 3 arrowheads. There's a knife here which goes all the way to the end. There's also a saw. So everything on this card, apart from the lashings or the paracord or whatever you're going to use to lash the arrowheads on, and the flights, but I presume, you know, you could wrap some around the card if you wanted to. This hole is so you can wear it as a dog tag, and this, I presume, is for going along the surface of the bark to scrape it off. Not quite sure about that. They're made out of 1mm thickness stainless steel, so they won't rust, and you basically just push them out. So in my kit, as I've said, I've got some duct tape wrapped round. Then I've got some cordage. I've got some cordage there to make an actual string for a bow. Now I would like to use pine sap, but at this time of year there's none about, so I've got several sticks of hot melt glue in there, and I've got some more thinner kind of cordage there, but like I say, I have got some other stuff with me. Don't know if I can find it now, so I've just put everything back in my bag. But I've got some like this twine, quite strong. I think you use this to sew carpets together, that kind of thing. I think it's called tiger twine or tiger string, something like that. So I've got some of that, and I've also got some paracord. So I'm going to split the paracord open and use the inner strands of the paracord. So I just thought I'd bring you in for a quick look at that, what it's all about, and then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll get cracking. Hopefully I want to use this card to make the majority of the arrows, but I will be carrying a small penknife with me as well, which, you know, these are designed for your survival kit, so you probably would have a penknife or similar kind of knife in your survival kit. Good morning everybody, welcome back. I've made the first brew of the day. Got here about 10 minutes ago. I think your first brew is always the best one. I've foregone the tarp setup. It's absolutely a beautiful day today. Absolutely blue skies, not too cold. On the way here I heard a woodpecker, but I wasn't able to record it obviously because I don't have a telephoto lens. Something I want to invest in the future. So we're not going to muck about this morning. We're going to get crack on with these arrows. The first job would be to remove all the bark. I did think overnight which end I'm going to put the arrow on and which end I'm going to put the fletchings on. So I think the thick end for the fletchings. This isn't any particular type of wood. I don't actually know what wood it is. I think it looks like elder, but I'm not sure. Quite possibly, it feels a bit spongy, a bit like cork, but not to worry. All I've done is chosen the straightest ones I could find, because this is basically a survival situation. So, or a survival arrow, should I say. So without further ado, let's crack on. Right guys, so what I've found, I mean I've done this one. What I found with it, if I use the blunt edge of the card, it's far easier at removing this type of bark. So that's what I've started doing on this one, rather than the knife, and it is a fair bit quicker as well. Then when I get to any knots, that's when I use the knife part of the card just to cut off any notches best I can, and then continue scraping the bark off. So I've done them both now. I've just noticed here that there's a knot right on the end, 2 knots just there, and that's where the arrowhead's going to sit in there like that. So what I'm going to do is use the actual card saw to see if we can just take that edge off. I'm not expecting it to be a nice clean cut, so let's give it a go. Maybe go around it as well, a little bit like that. And we think we should be there now. Well, it's cleaner than what I thought it would be. I'm not sure that I like the knife where it is, because your hand's on there when you're sawing. So if it was me designing it, probably I'd put the knife on the opposite end there, so you've got 2 cutting edges opposite each other, and maybe even Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. Because you're holding it like that, you're holding the knife edge. Or you could wrap something around it, your sleeve or whatever, I suppose. But yeah, if I was designing it, I'd put the two bladed edges opposite each other. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is cut the slit in for the actual arrowhead to sit in. It's got to be a fair way down to about there, I would imagine. Doing that straight with this kind of blade, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. So let's give that a go. It's actually getting pretty warm here, folks. Let's carry on. Okay, so you can see that I've now done the two slits for the arrowheads. So let's test it for a fit. Yeah, that's good. And that one as well. Which is going to go a little bit deeper because obviously we've got this little bit of card here that's not going to be used. The holes are so you can put bindings. Start your bindings on the holes and then go up the arrowhead. I'll show you how we attach them in a second. But the next thing we need to do is now kind of put a chamfer on these, on both of these slits. So they're finished now, ready to have the actual heads fitted. You can see that I've got two thicknesses of arrow here. So the thicker one I'm going to be using the duct tape with, and the thinner one we'll use the feather fletchings. So we don't want this too fierce. So all I'm going to do, first of all, is just melt the glue. Now, obviously I'm putting the arrowhead in here. I might just take that down to a little bit of better point. That's a bit better. So I'm going to put the glue on the actual head and then slide it in. And that should do us. Just take a little bit of that tip off. Perfect. So I'm going to heat this up. When you've got a flame, it lets you know that it's ready, and then very quickly slide that in there. Then on to the next one, make sure it's fairly straightish, because it does set very quickly, this type of glue. Let's pull that out. Right, okay, so on to the next one. I've actually covered the holes with glue. Not too worried about that. On this one we'll just lash it on. Any excess can be just pulled off when it's gone cool. So there we have both our arrowheads set in. Right, okay, so very quickly I'm going to put some glue on either side of here. I've already started it off. I've left myself a good length here so I can tie it off at the end. Probably that it won't probably need tying off, because this glue will do a lot of the job for us. So I'll just show you how I do that. So melt the glue, put some all around the shaft, and then very quickly start twisting it round like this. So what I'm going to do now is just tie it off there. And then I'm just going to put some more glue over the top of it. Like so. Wet my finger and then just rub it in. Right, so what I'm going to try and do now is straighten the arrows. I'll just show you how bent they are. That one's not too bad actually. This one's quite a bit more bent. You can see there that it's got a nice curve in it. So all I'm going to try and do is just heat it up. And just gently bend it. So yeah, just do it the best I can really. I mean, yeah, I'm using gas, but if you manage to get a fire going, obviously you'd be using your fire. They're not going to be brilliant. Obviously there's a particular wood that archers use, or bowyers use, to make their arrows out of. I've not really researched it a lot. This is kind of, I wanted to do it as a survival situation, so I'm not actually sure what wood they use. If you do know, leave some comments. So let's have a look how we're doing now. Not too bad. It's going to scorch the wood a little bit, but we're not too worried about that. And even when they dry out, that might affect the straightness as well, you know, when I've got them stored in the house. I don't think we're doing too bad. That's not bad, that one. I could live with that. Let's have a look at this one. So the bend's about there. Too bad, so we'll just have to see how they perform when they start drying out a little bit more on their own, a bit more naturally. That's not too bad. Maybe a little bit there. Yeah, I can live with them. So here's all the feathers that I gathered yesterday. There's a couple more in the bag, not many. I've chose 3 of the best ones. 3 of the best ones of similar size, and basically all I'm going to do is strip one side off of them all. Like so. So we need to leave need to leave a bit of the quill. We need to leave a bit of the quill at the back so we can lash it onto the shaft. Now ideally I would like to split that down the middle so that it's got a good purchase onto the shaft. I'll have a go at that in a minute. So same with these ones. I want a little bit at the back, roughly equal sizes. Cut that off there. Right, so that's pretty much both arrows finished. One is slightly longer than the other. The duct tape one is slightly shorter. So let's just give them a test. Well, they seem to work. Arrowheads remained on, that's a good sign. Penetrated the earth as well, so it's looking promising. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Please stay tuned, because on the next video I'll be making a primitive survival style bow and we'll be testing these out properly. give me thumbs up, thumbs down, leave some comments as always. I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.